I try to give the players the benefit of the doubt, especially Jalen Hurts, because he's in this revolving door of offensive coordinators.
Right.
But I keep going back to the Derek Gunn report from during the season about how the frustration was arising in the locker room and among the coaches because Jalen Hurts wasn't running the offense the way he was supposed to. He was doing it his way. He's aware that his contract, with all of those option bonuses and voidable years that they use to manage the salary cap, it gives him so much power. Before you create a contract like that, which delays the salary cap dollars as deep into the future as possible, because the idea is very simple. $1 today under the cap is worth more than $1 tomorrow under the cap. We kick as many dollars as we can into future years because the cap keeps going up. The percentage impact of that contract
goes
is less
down,
if we can push it out, if we can layer it out into the future. That's fine as long as you don't have a problem with the player that would cause you to have to move on from him, because then you get an astronomical cap charge from cutting him or from trading him. So they're stuck, and he knows it. That was the gist of Derek Gunn's report. And that, like everything else, it's noticed, and then we move on to the next thing. We're goldfish-brained, and there's always new, bright, shiny objects. But that's the one thing that, and I keep going back to, when is somebody going to get to the bottom of what the hell the source of all the dysfunction is? The Eagles do a great job of hiding the heart of it. They don't do a very good job of clearing away the smoke. There's always something there. They do a great job of guarding whatever the truth is.
But that's why the smoke's there, because we never put the fire out. We keep it letting burn, like you're talking about.
They deal with the fire.
They keep winning, they keep existing, and they're in a spot with the quarterback where they know they're in a tough spot and there's nothing they can do. He's got total control, and they know by blaming the quarterback publicly, that's not going to help the situation right now, even though that's the blame. That's the blame. Anybody you talk to in Philadelphia, if you know anybody there, Jalen Hurts is the problem. Everybody's trying to tell everybody, but nobody wants to hear it. That's the problem right now.
I think that's part of it. I think part of it, too, is they are very good at working the media to keep them from reporting things they don't want them to report.
I agree.
They're very good at that.
Right. But that keeps smoke going, because some of those media guys still know things, and then they tell somebody, right? Or they tell this person, and they tell that person. And that's how that goes. And that's where, they got to fix this. Right? They certainly could be more creative on the offensive side. We know that, but also Jalen Hurts is holding them back in that department. I know these things. You know, he doesn't want the offense expanded to a degree. So that kind of handcuffs them a little bit. And then when you're an offense, you can't go to like, hey, let's do advanced geometry when like you brought up a minute ago, like what you talked about with A.J. Brown, where you can watch the film and go, wait, here's a basic play and the guy's open and he doesn't throw it. That doesn't give the coaches the confidence to go, hey, let's go deeper into the playbook. Right? You know how coaches are. If we can't do step 1 and 2, I'm certainly not going to go to step 3, 4, and 5 just out of nowhere. And I think that's where they're stuck at. And it's just incredible. Like, I wrote this down at one point in the football game. And again, I want to state this to make the point. I mean, yes, it's Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. It's Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs we've ever seen. It's an offensive line that the talent is unbelievable. You know, the receivers are amazing. That was A.J. Brown's last game as a Philadelphia Eagle. I'll say that. I guarantee that will be the end of that. But regardless off of that, I'm here at 7-6, and I wrote 49ers daring the Eagles to throw it. The whole first half. The 49ers, with their beat-up football team, knew that they were going to get sledgehammered in the run game if they didn't put a bunch of people at the line of scrimmage. And they were giving looks to the Eagles where Devin McCourty and I were like, man, I mean, the 49ers are playing like, you know, cover 0 on 2nd and 10. No safety in the middle of the field, just going, we'll take a chance. Hopefully they don't call a deep pass or Jalen doesn't see it, and we'll just roll the dice. It's a little bit what Spagnuolo did with the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl the first time. Just took tactical, crazy chances because you're like, we're outmanned, so we're going to roll the dice here and just hope they don't have that one play called. And that's incredible that is where we're talking about here. The 49ers defense, where most people that are football fans can't name guys on their defense, were able to shut down a team where most fans can name almost every guy on the Eagles offense. That's how good they are. And that's crazy when you say that out loud with that type of talent, that they have these moments that you've discussed so many times already here in the show.
Here's both head coach Nick Sirianni and quarterback Jalen Hurts on the struggles of the Philadelphia Eagles offense.
felt like that was kind of our story as the year progressed, and good, like you said, good first half. Didn't do a good enough job coaching. Didn't do a good enough job executing in the second half. In that third quarter, particularly.
I think winning is hard. Nothing about it is easy, especially when you're trying to repeat. Everything was clear for us and what we wanted to accomplish this year, and we came up short. And so you have no choice but to learn from it, especially if you have a great passion about it. And that's my approach. That's my approach with it all. I think, when I look at this game, and I know this is a little different, but it kind of answers a question that you asked before. We've got to take advantage of our opportunities when they're there, and we've got to be smart and rhythmic in what we do and how we do it. Ultimately, when I see our defense, get the ball back like that. I mean, we've responded with touchdowns, and those are the times you capitalize, especially on short fields. And I take ownership for not being able to put points on the board. It all starts with me and ends with me.
I don't know what to say in response to that. It's all just noise. It's all just cliche.
Well, I think
it's
that's a little bit what people are getting a little exhausted with down there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're getting exhausted with. Yes, we talked about that, but Jalen, we've been talking about you doing this on this play, and you don't do that. That's what's going on. And so it's not all on him, but that's just what part of the problem. It's part of the formula, the stew, right? A.J. Brown not catching the ball certainly hurt them and all of that, but they're too good to basically say we have to take advantage of the opportunity or the plays, right? We've gotten into the Eagles where it's just like they'll make the play when they have to, right? And that's just too hard to think that that's how it's going to go down week after week after week. Great football teams don't just go, ooh, we're going to make the one play when we have to. No, usually really good football teams can execute throughout a football game, and then a few big plays present themselves through that execution, more like what the 49ers did yesterday. The Eagles, you kind of feel like it's ugly, it's ugly, it's ugly. Ooh, wait, we might get one-on-one with A.J. Brown here. Now I can do it, right? And that's just such a hard way to win all the time.
I don't even think they do that, though. I think they refuse to adapt to what the defense is giving them. When we see A.J. Brown in single coverage, I made this point during the season. With Randy Moss, it was very simple. When he was in Minnesota, any time that they sensed he didn't have a safety shading in his direction or just flat-out double coverage from the snap, anytime he was one-on-one, he was getting the ball. I don't ever get the sense that the Eagles go out there and take advantage of what the defensive holes may be. You ultimately have 11 guys on that side of the ball. You deploy them however you see fit, and the challenge of the game is to figure out where the openings will be and to adjust your approach to it, and I feel like they never do it. They just go out there and they run their play. This is the play we've called. This is the play we're going to run.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if their defense is going to be in a position to stop it. We called this play, we're going to run this play. And then the subset of that is, and this is where the frustration as it relates to Jalen Hurts reportedly came from when Derek Gunn explained it, Jalen Hurts is going to hold the ball too long. He's going to run it his way. He's going to run his play his way, and it throws off the timing. It's noteworthy when they have a play where the timing is on point because it doesn't happen as often as it should, where it's get the ball, there's the read, there's the throw, boom, it works. Right. So they got a lot to do.
They do.
They got a lot to do.
They got to reinvent themselves a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. We saw that last year, hey, they brought Saquon Barkley. The running game was able to hide some of these deficiencies in the pass game, and then they got the pass game going late in the season, right? This year, offensive line was a little banged up. People realized, wait, this is really the only 3 or 4 runs that they run with Saquon Barkley. And then because of what you're talking about, it being so simple in the pass game, and you've heard me say this a bunch on our picks pod and stuff, this is a defense that I think can stop the run. And because the offensive pass game is so simple, they'll be able to play run defense but still be able to kind of play pass defense along with that, even though they're hedging for the run, because it's kind of like, we know the 3 or 4 routes A.J. Brown's going to run. We kind of know. So we can devise a run-stopping game plan and still stop those routes in between it. And then if we can just get Jalen Hurts kind of uncomfortable in the pocket and keep him there for the most part, because we don't want him to scramble, teams feel like that's in their favor. This offense is simple. If you keep Hurts in the pocket, more times than not, he won't throw the ball on time, in rhythm, and do that. When he hurts you is when he starts to make plays outside the pocket and scramble and do all that, and we didn't have a ton of that. But yes, simplicity, execution, they weren't quite as physical this year, and it's just disappointing there. And, you know, again, we kind of saw that and what Nick Sirianni said, the last play of the game, the last 2 plays of the game. You're going, this is the season. It's on the line. They have a long discussion at a timeout. You could tell them Jalen Hurts is kind of telling them what he would like to do. And within that, all they do is run 4 verticals. Like, I'm just saying, if I was a quarterback and I was playing for John Gruden or Josh McDaniels, there's no way they'd be like, hey, let's just run 4 guys on a go route and we'll just hope there's a window where you can put it on them. And if they said that to me, I'd be like, really? What? We got all these 900 plays that we got in our offense, and this is the one we're going to go with? And that's just what's crazy when you say it out loud again. That's just unbelievable with a team like this.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.